Where is the money going? That's what I want to talk to you about in this video, but right after the intro. Where is the money going? I want to talk to you about this very important topic in this video. For you who are an entrepreneur, for you who are thinking about starting a business, for you who already have your company up and running and might be facing some difficulties, it's very important for you to know where the money is going. And I'm going to base our entire conversation, this whole discussion, on a truly insightful book I recently read. This particular book is an important part of the official school curriculum for all children and teenagers here in the vibrant city of Dubai. The child of the rich is educated and prepared to become even richer, while the child of the poor is educated to remain poor and be an eternal slave. So this important conversation I'm going to have with you in this comprehensive video presentation is primarily based on the Atlas of Finance, which is essential school material here in the vibrant city of Dubai. So truly understanding precisely where all of the money is currently going will definitely give you much clearer clarity about exactly where you should wisely invest your valuable resources to make your business truly successful. And everything I'm going to talk about in this video is also based on what I already do in practice, because I don't want to bring you knowledge or useless theory. I don't want to bring you something that you can't turn into money. No, absolutely. What I truly want for you is to be able to effectively take the valuable content of this particular video and genuinely turn it into real money in your own pocket. So let's get started. In 1973 in the United States, President Nixon's government did something that would change the world forever. They successfully created the SWIFT Code, a significant and vital cooperation established between 15 different countries and an impressive 253 prominent banks, all working together. They meticulously created an intricate system of extensive underwater cables to efficiently transmit vital information concerning financial matters and monetary transactions. So today, when you're in the United States and you make a purchase from China, how does the information about that money go from the United States to China? Through the internet via underwater cables, not by satellite. When you're in Brazil and make a purchase from a Chinese seller, the Chinese receive that money through the underwater cables. So a network of underwater cables was created connecting countries so that economic transactions would be possible. So before the SWIFT code, there was a guy who did brilliant work, Adam Smith. He wrote a book, which is a classic, called The Wealth of Nations. And Adam Smith became the father of modern economics. So many economists today base their work on Adam Smith's writings. I'm one of them, because for me, Adam Smith is my bedside reading. It's a work I've read, reread, read again, and reread once more. And to me, that's not just a book, it's a consultancy. So I love Adam Smith. But he wrote about the wealth of nations before the SWIFT code even existed. Now there has been a refinement. Now we can precisely and accurately know exactly where the money is located and precisely where it is currently going. This particular image I'm showing you here right now is a significant part of the book, where it clearly shows a detailed diagram with some illustrative arrows, and you can distinctly see the complete flow of funds based on the comprehensive information obtained from the SWIFT code. Please notice in this specific diagram I am currently showing you that the book explicitly shows money flowing out of the United States, indicating a clear financial movement. You don't see any arrows showing money coming into the United States. You don't see that. What you are currently seeing is a significant amount of money flowing out. Indeed, all the available money in the entire world is steadily heading toward the vibrant regions of Asia and the Middle East. I'm not the one saying this, folks. This is research work based on real and concrete data that I'm showing you from this book. And you understand when the United States makes an effort to try to contain public debt? When you hear on TV that the American economy is collapsing, it's based on those little arrows there, the flow of money. From there, the money is only leaving, it's not coming in. Now let's move on to another phenomenon. Why, Leandro, is the money leaving the United States and heading toward Asia and the Middle East? Let me tell you why. And now we get to the part that we, as entrepreneurs and business owners, like the most because it involves us. In Asia, over the past 30 years, and when I say Asia, I'm not just talking about China, I'm also talking about India. We're talking about Taiwan. We're talking about other countries. It's not just China. China predominantly, but also India, Taiwan, the folks here in the Middle East, the people here in the United Arab Emirates. Look at where I'm speaking to you from. A few years ago, this here was just sand. There was nothing. Look at it now, a city built on money, a city made of wealth. So this is proof that money is migrating here. Everything I'm showing you here is real proof. It's confirmation that everything I'm saying in this video is true. And everything the book says is also true. Money from all over the world is coming this way. But why, Leandro, is money from all over the world coming here? Because these guys here, not just here in the United Arab Emirates, but also in India, China, Taiwan, what did they do? They understood that every plate of food served anywhere in the world. Look at how simple this concept is. This is wonderful because the greatest things in life are the simplest ones. They understood that for every plate of food served anywhere in the world, the money to buy that food came from a company, directly or indirectly. So if they realized that companies have this level of importance, what did they do? They created conditions for companies to thrive. Low taxes, free electricity for factories, laws that protect both companies and their dedicated workers, essential infrastructure so that companies could effectively exist, such as spacious warehouses, well-maintained roads, efficient railways for cheap freight, and an extremely automated and technologically advanced port, much like the highly efficient port of Shanghai. There isn't a single person working at the port of Shanghai. All the cranes unloading the ships and all the trucks transporting those containers are fully autonomous. There isn't a single person driving a truck there. That's how it is at the port of Shanghai. And that's how it is at the port of Shenzhen too. And I say this with a lot of authority because I have residency in China. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking here about something I heard from someone else. I'm not talking here about something I researched on the internet. I'm talking about what I actually experience. So entrepreneurs and investors from all over the world brought their money here to the Middle East and Asia. You want to see? Take a look at something else in this diagram I'm showing you. You'll see a very thin arrow coming out of Japan and heading towards Brazil. You'll notice there are two arrows that pass through Brazil. One starts in the United States, passes through Brazil, and goes to Asia. It simply passes through. It doesn't stay in Brazil. In other words, the money is not in Brazil. The money is not in Brazil. It just passed through Brazil. It just passed through and left a memory because the Brazilian people are getting poorer and more miserable every day. Now there's a thin arrow here that I'm showing you. See? This arrow goes from Japan to Brazil. What is this thin arrow? What is this money that's coming from Japan and going to Brazil? What money is this? What kind of business is Brazil doing to attract this money that's heading toward Brazil? I'll tell you. The name of this little arrow is bank. Bank, and here's why. In Brazil, there's something quite significant that you hear about all the time in the media and on television. It's called the Selic rate. What is that, Leandro? That's how much the government is willing to pay for the money it borrows. Basically, that's what it is. That's the simplest way to put it. The Selic rate, which right now in Brazil, at the moment I'm recording this video to talk to you, is 15%. It's the highest in the world. So what happens? When you start a business, you do it to earn 7, 8, 9% per year in profitability for your company. So why start a business in Brazil if it's cheaper for you to just lend money to the government and do nothing? Brazil has become a country of rentiers, not entrepreneurs. So those small and medium-sized business owners who don't have the money to become investors and live off passive income, those small and medium entrepreneurs whom I'm speaking to right now, who are fighting for their survival, my dear friend, you're in the wrong place. You're doing everything right, but you're in the wrong place because Brazil has become a country of rentiers. If you have a lot of money to lend to the government and live off the income, Brazil is the best place in the world. Because you take your money, lend it to the government, go to the beach, and at the end of the year, the government gives you a 15% return without you having to do absolutely anything. So this little arrow I'm showing on the map there, going from Japan to Brazil, what is it really that's hidden inside that arrow? Here's the thing, Brazil has 6 big banks. These banks go to Japan and ask, hey, Japanese, how much will you lend me the money for? Then the Japanese say, I'll lend it to you at 2.8%. Then Banco Itaú, Bradesco, these big banks say, I want to borrow the money. So the big banks get the money in Japan at 2.8% and take it to Brazil, where they lend it to the government at 15%. The federal government doesn't default. It's reliable money. There's no delinquency. That's why nowadays in Brazil, banks don't want to lend to companies. Today, there are no lines of credit for companies in Brazil. There aren't any. There are no loans, no special overdraft limits. People don't have credit card limits. Brazilians are in debt. There's no line of credit for Brazilians. Now, shall we do an exercise to be honest with ourselves? Let's put ourselves in the bank's shoes. Imagine that you and I, we own a bank. Would you rather lend to a company? Are we going to lend our money to a company, running the risk of not getting it back? Because if the guy goes bankrupt, he'll default on us. You, my partner at the bank, would you rather we lend money to a company in Brazil or lend money to the government and get our money back cleanly with no risk of default? Come on, let's not be naive. We're also going to want to lend to the government. I'm not criticizing the banks, not at all. The banks are doing the right thing. If I were in the bank's shoes, I'd do exactly the same thing. So this little arrow I'm showing you here, that's the money the bank is borrowing in Japan at 2.8 to lend to Brazil at 15. And you, the business owner, you're out of luck. You're on your own. That's the truth, my brother. That's the truth, my friend. But then comes another question, Leandro. Why are all these arrows pointing toward Asia and the Middle East? Because money genuinely likes to be there. Money truly likes to go where something valuable is being produced. Conversely, money absolutely doesn't like to go where absolutely nothing of substance is produced. Do you want to see what I mean? That's why on this map I'm showing you, the arrows are only leaving the United States. The United States doesn't have factories anymore. When you see Trump on TV putting tariffs on the whole world to force the issue, because that's exactly what he's doing, forcing the issue. When you see him forcing the issue to get industries to return to the United States, when you see him imposing tariffs against Brazil, against China, he just imposed a 100% tariff on Chinese products. What is he trying to say with these tariffs? That he's an enemy of the Chinese? No, of course not. Obviously not. He's not an enemy of the Chinese. He wants Samsung to open a factory in the United States. He wants Apple to close its factory in China and open one in the United States. He wants Nike to close its factories in China and open them in the United States. Because Trump has already realized that money flows toward where there are factories producing something. That's indeed the truth. That's the big reality. So I sincerely ask you, in the specific country or region where you are currently watching me from, what are the typical news reports and journalistic broadcasts like on your local television channels and networks? Are they about factories shutting down? About rising unemployment? About a lot of bankruptcies? That every day you see news of companies closing one after another? Is that what you see on TV where you are? Are those the kinds of news stories that reach you? If that's true, if that's really the case where you're watching me from, it's a sign that money is going to leave that country and go elsewhere. And along with that country, your business will go under. So Leandro, what's the alternative to that? Go in the direction where the money is flowing. You didn't start your business to go bankrupt. You started it to get rich. You started your business to be successful, didn't you? So you need to have your business where that's possible. For example, I brought my companies here to Dubai. Back in Brazil, at the port of Santos, I had a warehouse. a small one. It was 1,000 square meters when we started there. 1,000 square meter warehouse at the port of Santos cost me 150,000 reais. Let's talk in reais here. 150,000 reais per month. Here in Dubai, it costs 35,000 reais per year. That's right, you heard me. The same warehouse with the same size. Now tell me, if you were in my place, would you have your company in a place where you pay 150,000 per month for a warehouse? Or would you have your company in a place where you pay 35,000 per year? You're smart, you already know the answer. That's why I brought my family here to Dubai. In Brazil, if I make a sale in Brazil, I pay 30% in taxes. Here in Dubai, I pay 0. And here, from Dubai, I can sell my products to 22 Arab countries. Let me just give you a fact, a number. These 22 distinct Arab countries, when considered together, collectively encompass a population of approximately 800 million individuals. That's 3 times the population of the United States. Just look at the size of this consumer market. Do you now understand why, in this book, companies are moving money out of Brazil, out of the Americas, out of the United States, out of Europe, and they're all heading towards Asia and the Middle East? Because here they can find legal security, economic stability, and a market to buy their products. It's no use having a good product if you don't have anyone to sell it to. Leandro, my product is amazing. Is there anyone who wants to buy it or not? Then your product is worthless? Something only has value if there's someone to buy it. Isn't that right? So having your company in a place where there are people to buy, that's what really matters. Then now, everything I just told you is taught to children here in Dubai. It's taught to children here in the United Arab Emirates. And your children, where you enrolled them in school, do they have this level of conversation with your kids? When you were in school, did the school you attended have this level of conversation? The educational institution you attended and where your own children are currently studying, did it adequately prepare both you and your children to become successful entrepreneurs or merely to be someone's dedicated employees? Do you understand why I'm here talking to you from this place? Besides being here making this content useful for your life, I'm also here to extend an invitation. If you're interested in opening your company here in the United Arab Emirates, if you're interested in opening your company with Frisoni here in the UAE, if you want to access the consumer market of the Arab world, write down my WhatsApp number. I will give you my WhatsApp number here in Dubai, which is the prefix plus 971, which is the prefix here in the United Arab Emirates. More 97150573852. Please feel free to send me a message, and let's promptly schedule a comprehensive chat. Or perhaps we could arrange a detailed video conference call so that we can thoroughly discuss the exciting possibilities of significantly expanding your thriving company, further growing your successful business, and effectively gaining a substantial new client base for your organization. I already import products from 53 countries, and here I already redistribute to 22 countries. I already do this. What I can do for your company is put your product in my catalog and have my sales team sell your product. Because what matters most in all of this is my client portfolio. The only thing that has value in my company is the client portfolio it has. That's the big reality. So, my friends, I also want to take this opportunity to ask you to subscribe to our channel, leave your like, share this video with your friends, share this video with the teachers who taught you, with the teachers who teach your children. And who truly knows, perhaps this very atlas of finance will eventually become an integral part of the educational curriculum in the schools within the vibrant city where your own children currently study and from which you are presently watching me. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment telling us which city you're watching this video from, and thank you very much for your audience. See you at our next meeting. See you then.